Namaskar, good morning. Today it is very nice time, nice place, nice action. You are listening news from the nation, news from the world. It is really nice time, nice place, nice action. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, all teachers and trainers, professors, listeners and learners, manager to minister, doctor to directors, advocates, advisors, administrators and advisors, Reverend fathers and mothers, affectionate sons and daughters, dear friends. I thank Dr.RK from USA. Heartily, cordially welcome all of you. Friends, as you know that every day our world is changing due to advancement in technology. How we can protect our environment, atmosphere. These efforts are being provided by our Honorable President Mr. Modi ji to establish pollution-free nation of the world. We are efforting well. Today's news from Nation. Center launches 500 crore rupees scheme to boost medical device industry. What changes are being come in the field of medical industry? News from Delhi, New Delhi. The Central already launched a scheme for strengthening the medical device industry with an initial outlay of rupees 500 crore for 3 years. The scheme targets critical areas of medical device industry, covering manufacturing of key components and accessories, skill development, support for clinical studies, development of common infrastructure and industry promotion. It consists of 5 sub-schemes, common facilities for clusters of medical devices with an outlay of rupees 100 crore, marginal investment for reducing import independence, capacity building and skill development regarding medical device, medical device clinical study support scheme and medical device promotion rupees 10 crore, Ministry of State for Chemicals and Fertilizers. Univ.Dr.RK said medical devices have become an important pillar of the healthcare industry and their demand is rising continuously. The ministers acknowledged that the lack of infrastructure remains the primary challenge for industry through the sub-scheme for common facilities for medical devices clusters. The center will provide financial assistance to medical device clusters for creating common infrastructure facilities and official statement said. The second sub-scheme is designed to deepen the medical medtech supply chain in the country and reduce dependence on imported components. The third sub-scheme aims to develop a skilled technical workforce capable of designing and developing medtech products. Center will offer financial support for running various courses. Support of up to rupees 21 crore will be granted for master's courses in central institutions and rupees 10,000 per candidate for short-term courses and rupees 25,000 per candidate for diploma courses will be available. The fourth sub-scheme enables medical device developers and manufacturers to apply for financial support for animal studies. Financial support of up to rupees 25 crore would be provided for animal studies. For clinical investigation and post-market clinical follow-ups on approved devices in excess of rupees 5 crore available to generate clinical data up to rupees 1 crore can be granted for clinical performance evaluations of new in vitro diagnostic products. The last sub-scheme aims to support industry associations and experts councils via adding conferences and other activities. Male tailors should not take women's measurements causes DP panel, suggest segregation at public places to prevent molestation. News from Lucknow, November 8, men should not take women's measurements at tailor shops, nor cut a women's hair or train her in the gym. These are some of the proposals from the Uttar Pradesh State Women Commission to protect women from bad touch. The radical left of suggestions, which includes installing CCTVs in gyms, clothes stores, and coaching centers, and having women for security of students in school buses, comes following a meeting held on October 28. The Commission said it had sent letters on the guidelines, which seemed to be an attempt to segregate men and women in public spaces to improve women's safety to all districts, magistrates in the state to ensure compliance. There have been increasing complaints of bad touch by male trainers in gyms and in boutique where tailors who take measurements are mostly male. Bhavita Chauhan, chairperson of the UP Women's Body, said, "What we are saying is that isn't problem if the tailor is male, but only women should take measurements." Chauhan said. In a press note, the panel proposed that women's gym and yoga centers should only have female trainers. The gym and the trainers should be verified, while CCTV and DVRs at the establishments must be operational. Shops selling women's clothes are required to have female employees. It is mandatory to have female dance teachers at drama centers and a female security guard or teacher in school buses. The guidelines have it. We are aware that trained women will have to be employed at all these places, and this might take some time. However, it would also help in employing more women. The Commission chairperson added. Imani Agarwal, the member of the Commission, said the proposal floated by Johan on October 28 was accepted by the panel. Agarwal said the involvement of men in such professions could lead to incidents of molestation. The intention of some of the men is also not good, she said, before adding not that all men have bad intentions. Agarwal added that it is just a proposal at present and the Commission will subsequently request the government to make laws in this regard. The proposal has drawn mixed reactions with SPMLA Ragini Sonkar saying it should be left to individuals to decide which store or gym they want to go to. Meanwhile, social workers Veena Sharma and Mohsina Chaudhary welcomed the proposal, say asked while giving measurements at tailor shops. They said that the proposal should be enacted as law. Dear friends, you are listening this news from the nation. What changes our nation is facing nowadays? No better feeling than serving those in need, outgoing Chief Justice. And probably the most told judges, News of November 8, there is no better feeling than being able to serve those in need and people he never knew or met. Outgoing Chief Justice of India, CCI, D.Y. Chandrachud said on Friday at a farewell function organized by the Supreme Court Bar Association. The CGI said his shoulders were broad enough to accept all criticism as he believed in transparency in public life and the dogma that sunlight is the best disinfectant. Justice Chandrachud, who is the 15th CGI, said he was probably one of the most told individuals and judges across the system. He then took his swipe and social media trollers and said in a light way that they will become unemployed from Monday. The CGI made these remarks on his last working day in office on Friday. Justice Chandrachud stepped into the shoes of his illustrious father, Y.V. Chandrachud, who served as the longest CGI between 1978 and 1985 on November 9, 2022. He will retire on November 10. In the recent weeks, Justice Chandrachud had faced criticism after invited PM Modi for Ganesh Puja to his home and his remarks that he had prayed to vote for a solution to the vexed Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid dispute. CGI designate Sanjeev Khanna and bar leaders lauded his contributions. SCBA President Kapil Sibal said he allowed people to criticize judges and transform the judicial landscape by allowing online access to court proceedings. Supreme Court produced material to establish authenticity of audio clips against CM, Manipur violence. News from New Delhi, November 8. The Supreme Court on Friday directed a cookie organization to produce material to indicate authenticity of leaked audio clips on the basis of which it filed a pre-CPT monitored SIT probe into the alleged role of the Manipur CM in the ethnic violence in the state. The bench of CCI, D.Y. Chandrachud and Justice J.B. Pardiwala and Manoj Mishra said it had a duty as the Constitutional Court and did not appreciate any attempt to push things under the carpet. It asked Advocate Prashant Bhushan, appearing for the Cookie Organization for Human Rights, trust the placement on the court to show the credibility of the audio clips before the court can consider the submissions which have been made on the basis of an audio clip. We deem it appropriate to grant the petitioner to file before this court the material indicating the authenticity of the clips. The bench said at the outset, Bhushan submitted that the recorded conversation prima facie shows the complicity and the involvement of the state machinery in violence against Kuki Jo community. He claimed the clips had disturbing conversations and the Syrian could be heard instigating the violence and protecting the attackers. He alleged that the Syrian not only fueled the violence but also allowed arms and ammunition to be looted. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, appearing for the state government, opposed the plea, saying the coalition should approach the Manipur High Court. Over 200 people were killed in clashes between Mattei and Kuki communities that broke out in May last year. Now you are listening news on the tribune established in 1881 Supreme Court's divided verdict, AIU minority status by question. The Supreme Court's decision to revisit Aligarh Muslim University minority status marks a pivotal moment in discourse on minority rights within India's education system. By a narrow 4-3 majority, the court on Friday overturned the 1967 as Aziz Bhasha versus Union of India ruling, which had denied AIU's minority status on the grounds of its establishment by statute. The majority, led by Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, argued that the works should be on AIU's origins rather than its formal incorporation. Dissenting Justice Suryakant, Dipankar Gupta and Supreme Court S.C. Sharma, however, countered that genuine minority institutions should retain administrative control established by the Muslim community in 1875 and later formalized under British era legislation in 1920. AIU's founding intent is central to this re-evaluation. Under this interpretation, AIU's identity is tied to its origins. Even if it is now subject to government oversight, this perspective also asserts that minority institutions need not to be exclusively controlled by members of their founding community, nor must they solely say that community to retain their minority status. The Supreme Court ruling has deferred the final decision on AIU status to a three-judge bench, the rekindles the possibility for AMU to reserve seats for Muslim students, which could strengthen its mission to serve the community. The decision assumes significance as it comes amid broader conversations about minority rights, autonomy, and the balancing act between government regulations and community-led by education. The court's nuanced stance recognizes that education rights for minorities are essential for fostering diversity within India's academic landscape. A favorable verdict may set a precedent not only for ANU but also for the other institutions seeking minority status, potentially reshaping the country's approach to minority rights in education. Jolt to Haryana, state must urgently address skewed gender ratio. It's a disturbing unity check for Haryana, the state that was handpicked by Prime Minister Padhao scheme, 11-point dip in the sex ratio at birth during a 10-month period, January to October this year as compared to 2023. The state plagued by gender imbalance from long faces the grim prospect of witnessing its lowest SRB in 8 years unless the authorities reverse this worrisome trend by the year's end. And that is a very daunting task. Haryana's sex ratio at birth did rise from 18,876 in 2015, the years the Beti Bachao program was rolled out, to a record high of 923 in 2019, but it has been dropping in recent years. This decline indicates gaps in the implementation of the government scheme in society regarding the birth and rights of the girl child. The scores of female fertilization is far from being eliminated. The alarming drop this year in the number of FIRs registered against loving to hate Modi and Trump too much. Electoral ecstasy versus sullen resentment is the hallmark of Paul's book and what the great game. Victorious duo, massive democracies like the US and India would rather elect Trump and Modi because we believe them less than we believe their opponents. It is clear that the happy middle in India, just like in America, has largely disappeared under the weight of two polarizing personalities. The return of Donald Trump to the White House is evoking in America these days a similar intensity of emotion that India has experienced over the last decade. Each time Narendra Modi has won power, the so-called liberal press has gone out of its way to paint a dark doomsday scenario, while the so-called conservative media, led by Elon Musk's X, is the clothing a man from Mar-a-Lago in night in shining armor material. It is uncanny that India's emotional mix wish Modi had been so similar to that meted out to Trump. Electoral ecstasy versus sudden resentment has been the hallmark of all three elections that Modi has won in 2014, 19 and 24. Certainly it is clear that the happy middle in India, just like in America, has largely disappeared under the weight of both polarizing personalities, Modi and Trump. The largest question is why the media, as well as pollsters in both countries, have been getting it increasingly wrong. Do we have to hate, do we love to hate both Modi and Trump too much that we are refusing to really see and hear what the people whose thoughts and desires and anxieties we claim to articulate are really saying? Just like in America, where pollsters had the race down to a dead heat, and respectable newspapers like in New York Times refused to concede that Trump had won, much after he had made his victory speech in Florida, in India too. Many of us have allowed our heart to take over our head. Incredibly, in both directions in 2014 and 19, we couldn't believe Indians were voting for Modi with both their hands and feet. In 2022, we refused to believe Yogi Adityanath had swept Uttar Pradesh, won the thousands of deaths during COVID-19, proof that God Himself had turned against him. We said in 2024 we were equally shocked that the same Uttar Pradesh had refused to fully deliver itself to the BJP. In all these cases, we poured ourselves so deeply into the story that we refused to meet them directly on the ground. Was once these mandates were in front of us, many of us still refuse to squarely accept them. Something remains wrong with Modi and Trump, we insisted, which may or may not have been true, was we refused to apply the same tough yardstick to either Rahul Gandhi or Kamala Harris. So let's face. So let's face the facts today. The fact is, Harish lost because she did not stand for anything. No matter that Trump was a convicted felon, a minister, or worse, at least he promised immigration back for India and bring jobs back to America. As for Rahul, the fact remains that people like me will hardly agree with many of his ideas across a dinner table, but we remain embarrassingly unconvinced about what he is willing to die for. Massive democracies like US and India would rather elect Trump and Modi because they are able to simplify the chaos that are begotten by societies in either decline or in transition. They will overlook the dark patches in the lives of the leaders we elect. January 6, 2021 assault on the US Capitol, as well as the 2022 Gujarat riots, in which more than 1,000 people were killed, because we are comforted by their present assurances that they will make our difficult lives better today. They speak to us simply. We disbelieve them less than we believe their opponents. One of the reasons voters said why they voted Trump, some black districts in the pro-Democrat southern US state of Georgia shifted almost entirely to him. Besides improving his Latino vote by 14% is because they said that Democrats tend to take their voters for granted. Sounds familiar, certainly sounds like Rahul's complaints, especially those complaining that the EVMs were fixed in Haryana. The voters punished Harish just like they did Bhupendra Singh Hooda when he refused to take along